Hello, it's Davy Mooney coming to you from the University of North Texas, where I run the jazz guitar program. Benedetto artist, Sunnyside Records artist. Got my 5 Sunnyside records right here, and just recorded number 6 a few weeks ago in New York at the Big Orange Sheep. Great studio with Michael Perez Cisneros engineering and mixing and mastering. Ko Omura, actually same personnel, same cast of characters as Benign Strangers from 2018. Turned out really great. 5 of my tunes, 5 of Ko's tunes. Hopefully get back to Japan at some point next year. Anyway, yeah, John Ellis, Glenn Zaleski, Matt Colosi, Ko Omura. It's a good time, and it's late July here in Denton, Texas. Weather's been kinder to us this year than last year. We haven't had a string of 108-degree days yet, but I'm just hanging out with the kids. Say hi, kids.
Hi. Hi.
Okay, yeah, they're off camera. They're here. Well, my wife's out of town. But anyway, that's not what I want to talk to you about right now. I want to talk to you about a beautiful tune, Two for the Road, which is a Henry Mancini song. Henry Mancini. I'm going to do a few of his tunes, I think. I think I'm going to do Dreamsville. I mean, Days of Wine and Roses is probably the most famous song that he wrote for the film Days of Wine and Roses. This song, too, Two for the Road, is from a movie. It's 1967. I never saw the whole movie. I've seen clips of it. I guess I got to sit down and watch the whole thing. Albert Finney and Audrey Hepburn driving around, getting in fights. It's great. It's so classic. And this song came to me through the really great album, probably one of my top. I mean, Pat Metheny has made so many records, it's hard to choose amongst them. But the album Beyond the Missouri Sky, really unique record in his discography. It's just duets with Charlie Hayden, but there's some overdubbed guitars. There's synths in there. There's all kind of stuff and he plays really cool songs, including some Jimmy Webb song. He plays "The Moon's a Harsh Mistress." And yeah, the version of this tune's on that record is really probably my favorite thing on the album, particularly for the outro solo that he does, that I'll talk about in a minute. But I feel like his version is kind of based on the Peggy Lee version from 1967. It's an album called Something Groovy. And I was trying to look up the personnel. I guess Toots Thielemans was involved, but it really reminded me of a Tom Jobim record. It's like a bossa nova, and they start with F minor to F major. It's got such a Tom Jobim kind of vibe, so I don't think he was involved, or they would have mentioned his name, but it was definitely a little bit of let's say a tribute to his kind of records that he did in the 60s. But yeah, beautiful tune, and Metheny just he really hits you on this one. He sort of emotional content of the tune, but I'll talk about the chords and everything. So both versions are in the key of C. Peggy Lee and Metheny. I believe in the movie it might be in a different key. I haven't really checked, so sorry. But it's definitely a vocal tune. It's great lyrics, and I also didn't check who wrote the lyrics. I don't think Mancini wrote lyrics. Not Johnny Mercer, unlike Moon River. But anyway, sorry. Where was I? Yeah, the chords. Both versions start on Metheny starts on F major 7 sharp 11, but with a sort of bossa nova straight 8 vibe. Peggy Lee is F minor 7 for 2 bars, and then F major 7. Just such a bossa nova thing. But then the tune, it's interesting. It's in the key of C. It starts with this F, and then you have B minor 7 flat 5, a 2/5. A minor down to F minor. D minor G7, and I love this thing here where he kind of extends the G7 2 beats into the resolution of C major. It reminds me a lot of Michel Legrand, who's another. I should do some of his tunes. Yeah, I gotta do. Not It Might As Well Be Spring. Not Spring can really hang you up the most, but what's the other spring song? Anyway, I'm blanking, but the Michel Legrand song reminds me a lot of that. You Must Believe in Spring. Yeah. Anyway. And the Peggy Lee, I think she puts an E minor there. Metheny, they just kind of walk down. Two for the road. They do the little cliche of like A minor major 7, sort of Stairway to Heaven, My Funny Valentine to D7. And then they do the same thing on G minor. A minor 7 flat 5, D7, G minor 7 flat 5, C7, then to F again. So yeah, kind of feel like we're in F some of the time too, or F major 7. And I notice on the Peggy Lee version, Metheny does A minor 7 flat 5, D7, G minor 7 flat 5, C7. But the Peggy Lee, instead of having the minor 7 flat 5, 2, 5, 1 in the minor key, it's like a minor 4 chord, so like a C minor to D7 to B flat minor. And remember, all y'all that have read your Dizzy Gillespie and Thelonious Monk interviews, I don't know if Monk talked about it, but the idea that a minor 7 flat 5, those cats thought about it as a minor 6 chord with the 6 in the bass. So if it's C minor 6 to D7, B flat minor, to C7. And later on, we made those minor 7 flat 5 chords, so you have like a 2, 5, 1 in the minor key. So that's the first half of the song. So I'll go through it again. So B minor 7 flat 5, E7, come on to A minor with me. Kind of walks down to F major, maybe F major over E, then a D minor 7. Then the G7 extends for 2 beats into the C major, and then E minor over B or E minor or C major over B. Just another walk down, kind of from C down to A minor. And then a little line cliche thing on both A minor and G minor. That B flat melody note there kind of trips me out, because we're in the key of C, we think, but we kind of are in F, because having that B flat instead of B natural, it's not really like a modal vibe, it's definitely like a functional kind of, we're sort of in the key of F, perhaps. Second half, B minor 7 flat 5, E7 starts the same. Right here goes, it's a 2-5 to the 4, and Metheny actually goes, F major to F minor, major 7, B flat 7, C major over E or E minor, F major, and F sharp minor 7 flat 5, D7, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, E minor, D minor, G7, C. Whereas the Peggy Lee, and probably the film too, although I have to go back and listen. So after that, it goes to A minor, and then F sharp minor 7 flat 5, F minor 6, to the C over E or the E minor 7, and then she just stays on F major before doing, and then it's E minor, E flat 7, D minor, D flat 7, sort of sharp 9. It's actually kind of more of a jazzy vibe. The chords are very functional. I love this little modal part where it walks down to D minor. It's hard not to play a little like Metheny when I'm playing this. when I get to that F major at the end of the first half of the song, I kind of really want to make it be like F Ionian. Because then it goes to B minor 7 flat 5, and that B flat really becomes like a B natural. Makes it very, very interesting, you know. Yeah, you have this stretch of like the A minor over G, F major, E, D, where you're really playing sort of diatonic 7 chords in the key of C. So you have a little stretch where you can really sort of play melodically and not have to worry about threading the needle on chord changes. Your G7. And then you go to the 4. And that B7 that he puts in there that Peggy Lee doesn't do. And so he plays, there's the intro, the Metheny version, there's that intro on F Lydian. He plays the melody down in the low octave. Then he plays, and he's got a rhythm guitar, so I guess he overdubs probably the solo acoustic guitar over the rhythm acoustic guitar. He plays a whole chorus solo, and then he plays the melody again up an octave with a little more elaboration. And like, man, the thing at the end where it's kind of just like they vamp C major to G7 or G sus. And it really reminds me, you know, I just listened back to it about 15 minutes ago, and it had that vibe, a little bit of a piece, you know, the Bill Evans thing on Everybody Digs Bill Evans, one of my favorite jazz records of all time. And the sense that it starts real consonant, that he's going, you know. He doesn't play that exactly, but he starts real kind of C major, G7, and then it gets more and more like kind of C major to not C major, very dissonant G7. And I didn't go through and analyze it. I have it transcribed. You know, kudos to Jennifer Barnes, the director of vocal studies, jazz vocals here at UNT. She transcribed it and sent it to, a few years ago, she sent it to me and somebody else. She was like, oh, check it out. And I almost like don't want to, I don't know if you all ever have this thing where something that's kind of magical and you almost don't want to transcribe it or don't want to analyze it too much, pick it apart. Suffice it to say that he starts real consonant and gets real dissonant. And it doesn't really sound like totally obvious jazz vocabulary kind of stuff. Like, I mean, there is jazz vocabulary, but he's definitely stretching it to where it sort of sounds more like C major and then kind of out. G7 sort of, C major, not C major. And he goes real over the bar line. Sometimes on the C major part, he's still playing the G7. And I'm thinking about, in the future, I'm about to go on sabbatical to write another book, but when I come back from my improv class, I'm thinking about maybe like coming up with some assignment where maybe we'll play this song and have people do a playing evaluation of some kind where they just do that, you know, C major, not C major, in and out of the harmony, just to try to get that whole tension and release thing that is so much a part of. I mean, that's how I talk a lot in personalizing jazz vocabulary. I talk a lot about that. Those are always like the magical notes to me. But anyway, y'all, I'm going to play a little bit on these changes. I channel my inner Pat Metheny. And 2 for the Road, y'all. Great song, Henry Mancini.